When is pointing a gun at someone's head excessive force? According to these four San Antonio police officers, never.
No, I know you don't have them. I'm going to sweep over, okay? That's all right, Mike. I got a red dot right on his forehead. What the fuck have I got us into?
You're gonna get tased! Get out of the truck! Get out of the truck!
Tase him! Tase him!
Truck's off! Truck's off!
Don't come in! Don't come in!
Yellow truck!
Don't come in!
Yellow fucking truck!
Don't come in!
Yellow truck! You can see we're the police, right?
Pero why you doing do that?
Because we want to talk to you!
What kind of talk to me?
Knee strike!
No, do it now.
Quick, grab it for me! Put your hands behind your back!
Okay.
Stop!
Okay. What's wrong?
You don't raise your
What's wrong?
hand up to me like you're gonna hit me!
No, but what's wrong?
That's not for you to worry.
Stop it!
To the ground.
On the ground! Give me that hand right now! You're going to the hospital if you don't give me that hand!
Watch my radio. No, listen.
You listen!
What I did it? No, didn't
Coming around. Fingers locked.
Carl's his condition, needing anything, EMS or anything to check him, mental condition or anything?
Negative, sir. No indications of injury so far. In fact, he's just ranting and raving right now. I'll tell you more when you get here, but looks good right now, other than just being ignorant. I had that red dot on his forehead. He would have probably been drilled.
They argued that aiming weapons, including an AR-15 with the red dot laser, at an unarmed man's forehead doesn't violate the Fourth Amendment. A federal jury disagreed. So did the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and it cost them $265,000. I'm a civil rights attorney here in Texas, and today I'm breaking down the Castro versus Corey case, a case that finally answers the question, when does pointing a gun become excessive force? Let's get into it. If you're new here, welcome to Clearly Established, where I break down civil rights cases, qualified immunity, and discuss your constitutional rights and what they actually mean. So I've got the entire case file here: pleadings, depositions, body-worn cameras, trial verdict. So Castro versus Corey, filed in the Western District of Texas here in San Antonio. Judge Xavier Rodriguez. Trial in May 2025. The jury found for the plaintiff, Jose Castro. Here's what they found. Officers Carl Carawalla and Sean King violated Castro's Fourth Amendment rights by using excessive force when they pointed weapons at him. Officers Carawalla, King, Michael Thornton violated his rights by conducting an illegal search. So compensatory damages or monetary damages, the jury awarded the plaintiff $145,000. But the jury also found that these officers acted with malicious intent or reckless indifference to Castro's constitutional rights. So that triggered punitive damages of $120,000. The total, $265,000. There's also a motion for attorney's fees, which the court has not yet ruled on. So before this trial, there was an interlocutory appeal, and the Fifth Circuit weighed in and set precedent that's binding in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. This isn't just about one man. This is about clearly establishing the law for everyone. Let me show you what happened. In August 2018, in the middle of the night, San Antonio, Jose Castro is 50 years old, a pastor, delivery driver. 5 days a week, he drives from Dallas to San Antonio delivering supplies to veterinary hospitals. This week, his company truck is broken, so he rents an Enterprise box truck. It's routine. So he arrives and he makes his delivery, but rather than driving back to Dallas, he pulls into a lot near Houseman Village where he does deliveries, and he takes a nap. There's no trespassing signs in this area. He's parked there before. Everything's normal. Detective Carl Carawalla, plainclothes, unmarked truck, spots the Enterprise box truck, the door ajar, so he decides to investigate. Here's what's critical. Carawalla admits that he saw no criminal activity, none. No burglaries, no alarms, no suspicious persons. He wasn't called there. He didn't get any reports there. Just a box truck. So what does he do? He calls for backup. Officers Kimberly Corey and Michael Thompson arrive. 3 officers, 1 sleeping driver. And instead of knocking and asking, "Hey, are you okay?" all 3 immediately draw their weapons. Bright spotlights on Castro's truck, but no emergency lights, no red and blues, nothing clearly identifying them as police. Castro wakes up to screaming, sees guns, disoriented, limited English. He thinks he's being robbed. So he does what any reasonable person would do. He calls 911. Think about that. Police are there, and he's calling 911 for help. Listen to what the body camera captures.
All right, ghost call it, Carl. You in the truck! Come out with your hands up! ¿Por qué no? You've been accused! I'm coming to get your ass! Come here!
He's explaining himself, trying to comply, terrified, and the officer's response? Escalate. Less than 2 minutes after contact, Carawalla makes a decision. Grabs the AR-15, moves to the passenger side, the 2 o'clock position, weapon light on, red dot laser on, and listen to what he tells the other officers.
I got a red dot right on his forehead. Sir, get out of the car! Oh, you don't like me, sir. You're wrong. Sir! I will take a record. I need you. You want to take a record for what? He's reaching down to the door. Okay, both hands are up.
An AR-15, red dot laser, on an unarmed delivery driver's forehead. Meanwhile, Officer King approaches from the driver's side, pistol drawn, pointed at Castro's head.
Truck's off, truck's off. Don't come in, don't come in. Yell truck. Don't come in. Yell fucking truck. Don't come in. Yell truck. You can see we're the police, right? But why are you doing that? Because we want to talk to you.
2 guns, 2 angles, 1 terrified man who still doesn't understand what's happening. The officers then pull him from the truck.
What kind of talk to me? He's strike! No, do it now. Quick, grab it for me. Put your hands behind your back. Okay. Stop. Okay. What's wrong? You don't raise your hand up to me like you're going to hit me. No, but what's wrong? That's not for you to work. Stop it. To the ground. On the ground. Give me that hand right now. You're going to the hospital if you don't give me that hand.
King strikes him, leg sweep, ground, pain compliance techniques, back, neck, wrists, arms, knees, shoulders, handcuffs tight enough to cause his hands to swell. They go numb, visible trauma for several hours. They leave him handcuffed for over an hour. Body cameras keep recording after the incidents. And this is where officers get themselves into trouble. Several minutes in, Sergeant Garcia's camera captures Carawalla talking to King.
I just can't put hands on him with a rifle.
Oh, I know.
I kind of broke legs on that, by the way.
What's going on, sir?
Sorry.
How you doing? How's it going?
Doing good?
Doing good.
It's all Carl's fault. If you want to blame him. Yes.
I told you I'm here to slow the fucking system down.
That's it.
I broke the regs. Consciousness of guilt. He knows he violated policy. He's admitting it. After Castro's handcuffed in a squad car, secured, no threat, watch what happens.
Hey, how do you mute this thing?
On the side.
Okay.
And both colors will come up.
Muting for personal conversation.
Yeah, I already muted mine. Dude, alright.
Muting for personal conversation.
Yeah, I already muted mine. Dude, I had a red dot on that guy's forehead.
Do something shady here.
You know what we could do? It's going to be up to the Sarge there. You can go to the judge. You don't have to go to the DA. You can go to the judge. I've done it. I've done it twice for officers. Barkley would do it.
Strategic muting? Why? In his deposition, Carawalla admits that they mute to avoid misunderstandings of anyone else that wants to listen to what they're saying. Translation? They don't want it recorded. While Castro's handcuffed, they search his vehicle, cab and cargo. No warrant. Corey finds manifests proving Castro's story.
Hey,
Sit up.
I doing delivery.
Sit up.
Sit up.
You're doing a jail run now.
No, I can't do it. Nothing. You scare me. That's right. I promise. I do nothing. Yeah?
What type of delivery?
Animal supply, so I got delivery right now.
And when we asked you to step out of the car and identified ourselves as law enforcement,
no.
you didn't come out.
No, somebody lied me and somebody shooting.
Nobody shot. There was not one
Yeah.
gunshot fired at you
No,
guys.
I saw somebody with the gun. I can't. I promise. I'm not doing nothing.
Promise you're going to jail.
No, I can't. So, apologize.
Veterinary deliveries. Doesn't tell the other officers. They discuss the search and evidentiary terms.
This guy says he's here to do a delivery from Dallas. Okay. I'm not running it. Just the driver door open. So he calls for us to get here.
Hey, this is King. Just let Sergeant O and Carl K9 did show up. So they're going to do a search of the vehicle. Sure will.
So about that, no overtime.
What's
These boxes supposed to be, did he say?
He said he's delivering them to a veterinarian.
A pet place.
A pet place. He didn't say veterinarian. You're right. He said pet place.
Right here.
There is a vet.
Please open this box immediately
Pet.
and store items at indicated temperature. I don't think 105 degrees in the back of the Ryder truck is the indicated temperature.
Hey. Carl said,
Good information.
hey, Carl said if they could do a search of the vehicle and then maybe like a perimeter search with
Just
the
in
dog,
case
if he threw something.
Okay.
That's not an inventory search, that's a criminal investigation. 30 minutes later, an officer calls the scene is clear. No criminal activity. Castro was telling the truth the entire time. Another 30 minutes pass. An assistant district attorney is contacted.
Right, looking for safe burglars. They're hitting between certain times up in the Prue area, right? We're working with plainclothes detectives. So we're looking at all the businesses, the types of businesses that they're hitting. Checking suspicious cars, people parked out, across the street lookouts, etc. One of our detectives comes across a box truck, like a rental box truck from Enterprise, one of the big ones, parked out behind some bushes off on a little private drive that goes to nothing off of the main road, right? He pulls in, sees that the driver door is open, okay? Doesn't approach, calls for us because we're in uniform, we're in a marked patrol car. We roll up, we start walking up, and I say, hey, you know what? Let's see if somebody's in there. Let's call out. Maybe somebody's in there, they'll come out so we don't, get ambushed. So, holler out, hey, you in the vehicle, show me your hands, come out. Somebody answers up. So now we know there's for sure somebody in the truck, right? Spanish, English. So I order him out in Spanish. He keeps yelling, no, 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 I'm not doing anything, no, no, no. Then he starts saying that we're not the police, right? So I go back to the patrol car, activate all the red and blue lights I have on my police car, get on the PA system. San Antonio Police, you need to come out of the car. The detective has gone around the side of the truck, clearly visible to the AP. Shows him his badge, vest, police on his vest, okay? Clearly we're the police, okay?
Another officer gets here. Oh, he's making a phone call. He's calling 911. 911 is telling him, those are the police. You need to get out of the truck, okay? Still not getting out of the truck. We get another officer here. We go to approach the truck. At this point, and he's poked his head out a few times and made eye contact with me. He knew I was the police. I have no doubt in my mind. He knows I'm the police. Tell him, hey, get out of the truck. He says, no. He's not getting out of the truck. Okay? Immediately we grab onto him. He starts oh, and at one point when we were ordering him out of the truck, he turns the vehicle on like he's going to drive away. So we all pull way back because we don't want to get ran over by this big truck. I get the truck turned off. We get him out. He's still not putting his hands behind his back, still not complying with orders. Clearly we're the police. There's a bunch of us here by this point. So eventually we end up taking him to the ground and getting him handcuffed. Okay. Now, he says that he's here doing deliveries from Dallas. He has a CDL, commercial driver's license, so he knows what to do when he's stopped by the police. Okay. But we don't have anything besides the resisting search on him. Would you take that? We're being told that you wouldn't take just a straight resisting search without an actual charge. He's a suspicious person in a suspicious place at a suspicious time in a known area where safe burglaries and ATM burglaries are happening. And one of the things is they use these big rental trucks to haul the ATMs out here to these places out of sight to break into them after they steal them. Okay, that's fine with me. I mean, I really don't feel like taking this guy to jail. He's just an idiot, and I think he knew we were the police, but he still didn't want to cooperate with us.
I mean, I can.
Yeah, but there's no resisting detention. That's my problem. So I think we'll just SP him and then we'll just kick him loose. The only thing is because we had to take him to the ground. And if we would have got to the truck, when we were at the door of the truck, we didn't immediately grab onto him and try to yank him. We're like, hey, dude, come out of the truck. And he still didn't come out of the truck. We're the police. You got to listen to us.
Yeah, you know?
Tell them to cancel it.
No, they just canceled me right now. I'm on.
Okay. We will SP him and file it at large and see what happens. All right.
Yeah, thanks for all your help.
Thanks. Bye.
So
She said that we don't have PC to search him.
We don't have PC to search somebody that's in a suspicious place at night.
I said suspicious person, suspicious place, in a suspicious time in an area where the MO for the burglars is to use big box trucks to take ATMs and other safes and then go out to these abandoned places. Because what did we just recover the other safes from? From the other ATMs out here. Yeah. Same thing, right? They were in a stolen truck. Told her all of that.
Now, he didn't just go on because he's got Noah looking at it. He just looks like he was pushing y'all away. He didn't go.
No, he didn't try to kill us. But he did grab back on. He grabbed onto the wheel.
Okay, is he? We gotta make sure he's coherent enough to operate. If he is, I mean, he told me I was out, and then we can cover ourselves with that.
And I agree that he was out for about maybe the first minute.
We were out here for a while.
But we were out here for a long time. And the fact that he was coherent enough to dial 911.
And talk to them.
And the 911 operator is telling him, sir, they are the police, you need to get out of the truck. And he's still not. And then I was cool all the way up to the point where we approached the truck and me and King and Kim are standing there in front of him.
What I don't understand is we would be justified to quote unquote shoot the guy, right?
So
if we're going to be justified to do that, then we are in the right place at the right time doing a lawful duty.
Yeah.
How can we not book him?
I'll go with that. As long as you call DA, that's the ones who's going to accept it.
Put it in there like that for me, please.
I will.
Because I don't want this guy coming back and suing anybody.
That's my thing.
What is Thornton's response? Pulls a still handcuffed Castro out of the vehicle and verbally harasses him before releasing him.
Come here, sir. You want to go to jail today? Huh? Do you want to go to jail? Or do you want to go about your day and your life?
Yo te boss. You the boss. I can't do nothing, sir. You do whatever what you want. I do my job.
It's not what I want. I'm doing my job. You want to talk about doing jobs? I was doing my job protecting the citizens of San Antonio and their property
But
tonight.
I'm apologizing for maybe getting nervous a lot, but what I do is my job, deliveries, that's what I do.
And what's my job?
I understand that the other police he say you looking for somebody, but I don't know.
You don't know, right?
No,
You don't know. All you know is that we're the police. And what do you do when the police contact you? Exactly what they say, when they say it, how they say it. Correct? Yes or no?
Yeah, but
No, but. It's a yes or no. You're talking yourself into going to jail tonight, sir.
I got scared when somebody got a gun, which like that. You know, it's scary.
You didn't know I had a gun?
No,
until...
I saw, sir.
So you saw that I had a gun and I was the police?
I saw another side, somebody shooting because they want to shoot it.
Nobody shot anything.
No guns were fired out here.
I'm apologizing for that, but I tell you, never police do that. Never.
How many times have you encountered police in this situation?
With your door
I
open?
can never. I can do
You've
the
never
right.
encountered the police like this, have you?
I tell you the truth. Never do anybody do it. Anybody.
I really want to take him to jail, Carl.
No, listen. I apologize.
Take him and get the judge to do it.
God bless you because you do your job, buddy. God bless you. God bless you. Okay. Because it's your boss.
And just make sure he knows that my real problem is when there's 3 policemen at his door, he still won't come out of the damn truck. I don't understand what he didn't understand about that part of it.
You were told what to do before you ever saw a gun. Don't give me that crap, okay? There's a case that's going to be filed on you, most likely. So if I were you, I'd start trying to brush up on your law because we're also going to contact the DPS about your commercial driver's license.
No apology, just harassment. Castro goes to the hospital hours later, crying and in distress. Now let me show you what came out in depositions. Discovery was devastating for the defense. 3 officer depositions, all bad. Let's start with the basics. Officer Sean King, June 29, 2022. Watch how King knew before he pointed his gun. Prior to arriving on scene, the only thing you knew was what you heard over the radio. Answer, correct. What did you hear? Officer Thornton asked for assistance because he had an individual refusing to exit a truck. Someone refusing to exit a truck? That's it. No weapons, no violence, no threats. And King rolls up and points his gun at Castro's head. Detective Carawalla, May 10, 2022. The attorney asked why he didn't activate his body camera initially. You didn't turn on your body camera until Corey and Thornton arrived? Yes. Why not? At the time, I'm not wearing my body armor. So my body cam isn't on. The scene when I drove up wasn't secure enough for me to do administrative work. Not dangerous enough for body armor, but dangerous enough for an AR-15 to the forehead? Make that make sense. The attorney presses him on what justified calling backup. Were there any reported burglaries at Houseman Village that night? I can't say with certainty. Any alarms? I don't think so. Suspicious vehicles? I don't recall. Suspicious persons? Not that I recall. Any criminal activity? Not that I recall. No burglaries, no alarms, nothing. So what's the justification? Here's where Carawalla really destroys his own case. Over an hour into the incident, his body camera captures him questioning the use of force.
I understand it's never been justified to quote-unquote shoot the guy, right?
All right. So
If we're going to be justified to do that, then we are in the right place at the right time doing a lawful duty.
He's questioning it on camera to the other officers, and in his deposition, he's confronted. Did Castro present a clear or imminent threat at the time? Answer, he's not shot. Did he present a clear or imminent threat? Answer, no, not for that level of force. There it is. No, not for that level of force. Castro never justified deadly force. Carawalla admits it. That's the ball game right there. Officer Kimberly Corey, June 23rd, 2022. The attorney asked her about SAPD policy. Were you aware Carawalla had the red dot of his rifle on Mr. Castro's forehead? Answer, just from him stating it in his body camera. SAPD policy says, never let the muzzle cover anything you're not willing to destroy. Based on that policy, do you agree Carawalla was willing to destroy Mr. Castro? Answer, yes. Yes, by SAPD's own policy, Carawalla was willing to destroy Jose Castro. That's deadly force. But then she tries to walk it back. So pointing the AR-15 at his forehead is not deadly force simply because it wasn't used? Answer, correct. It's a show of force. Is that how deadly force is defined in the SAPD manual? Answer, there was no deadly force used. He's alive. That's not how the law works. The threat of deadly force is the use of force. You don't have to pull the trigger for it to be excessive. Notice the pattern. No investigation, no threat, no weapons, no burglaries, no alarms, nothing. And they all knew it, but they pointed guns anyway. The defense knew it was a problem, so they tried to escape liability with qualified immunity. They appealed to the Fifth Circuit. After discovery, there were summary judgments, and they didn't even want this going to trial. So the way these cases work is you file your lawsuit. Before the officers answer, they try to get it dismissed. And then if they lose on qualified immunity at that stage, they can file an appeal. And then if you prevail at appeal, it goes back, then you get to get discovery. This could take years, right? So once you get discovery, then there's motion for summary judgment stage. Both parties or all sides can file for these things and try to get the case dismissed, saying just based on the law and based on the evidence, this shouldn't go to a jury. And so that's what happened here. There was discovery and then a motion for summary judgment. Well, the judge rightfully said, I'm not going to grant qualified immunity here. This case will go to trial. So the officers at this stage, they filed an interlocutory appeal, another middle appeal to the Fifth Circuit. They essentially argued that there's no clearly established law that pointing weapons constitutes excessive force, so they argued that the case should have been dismissed on qualified immunity. But on April 11, 2024, the Fifth Circuit issued their opinion. And they didn't just deny qualified immunity, I think they created binding precedent. Here's what the court said. Finally, there can be no question that the right at issue here, freedom from excessive force, is clearly established. Although we have previously held in some cases that pointing a gun at a suspect does not rise to the level of constitutional violation, this case is not the case. This case is not that case. The Fifth Circuit is telling every officer in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi, context matters. When you point multiple guns at an unarmed, confused, non-threatening suspect, that's excessive force. The court specifically noted that the officers pointed their guns throughout the encounter at someone who posed no threat. That violated clearly established Fourth Amendment rights. As the court noted, here the officers pointed multiple guns throughout the encounter at an unarmed, confused, and only mildly disruptive suspect. So now we have binding precedent. Castro v. Corey is clearly established law in the Fifth Circuit. Future plaintiffs can now cite to that case. Officers can't claim they didn't know. But here's what really gets me. After losing at the Fifth Circuit, these officers went to trial and made the same argument again. After the jury didn't agree with them, they filed a post-trial motion trying to argue for dismissal. Again, arguing that pointing guns cannot be excessive force, conveniently ignoring the Fifth Circuit's opinion in their own case. In May of this year, there was a 4-day trial. And the most powerful evidence wasn't depositions or body cameras. It was Jose Castro himself. Castro was deposed 3 years after the incident. Even then, he could barely talk about it. What do you recall upon waking up? Answer, I heard noises, screaming. Which police officers did you remember first? I see a person pointing a gun at me, and that is something I wouldn't even want to remember. What was that person saying? My body goes into a state of fear. I called the police. That's all I can tell you. Something I wouldn't even want to remember 3 years later. Still traumatized. Now imagine testifying in front of a jury 7 years later. So on May 21st, 2025, Castro takes the stand. 7 years after that night. 7 years of nightmares. 7 years of trauma. And when his attorney asks him to describe waking up to guns in his face, he breaks down right there. Shaking, can't control it. According to the plaintiff's brief, Castro had a hard time controlling his emotions. He wept on the witness stand. He explained that the tears, the emotional trauma, he experienced right there in the courtroom is what he goes through all the time at home. The jury saw that footage, Castro at the scene. Then they saw him 7 years later. Still emotional about it. It's not fake, that's trauma. He testified that he suffered nightmares for almost 3 years. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't function the way he used to. Just seeing a police car triggers him. The jury heard it and they believed him. So on May 22nd of this year, the jury returns a verdict. Special Interrogatory 1. Did officers Carawalla and King use excessive force by aiming weapons at Castro? Yes. Special Interrogatory 3. Did officers Carawalla, King, and Thornton conduct an unreasonable search? Yes. Officer Corey, not liable. Compensatory damages, $145,000. Liability split, Carawalla 37%, King 37%, Thornton 26%. Jointly and severally liable. That means that each defendant is 100% liable for all of the damages. But then the punitive damages question, Special Interrogatory 5. Did the defendants act with malicious intent or reckless indifference to Castro's rights? Carawalla, yes. King, yes. $40,000 each in punitive damages. Another $40,000 against Thornton for the illegal search. Total, $265,000. So Jose Castro won. The Fifth Circuit ruled in his favor. The jury found excessive force and malice. Justice served, right? Well, let me show you something. I have the employment and pay records for all 4 defendant officers. What I found should outrage every taxpayer in San Antonio. Detective Carl Carawalla, AR-15 red dot on Castro's forehead, admitted, I broke the regs, found liable for excessive force with malice. He was not fired, not demoted, not disciplined. Since 2018, he received multiple raises and a promotion. Still a San Antonio police officer with a badge, a gun, and authority to stop you on the street. Officer Sean King, found liable for excessive force and an illegal search, punitive damages for malicious conduct. Also not fired, not demoted, not disciplined, received raises since 2018. Still patrolling San Antonio. Officer Michael Thornton, found liable for an illegal search with malice. Verbally harassed Castro after the district attorney said no probable cause. He's still employed, still gets raises, still wearing a SAPD uniform. Officer Kimberly Corey. The jury found her not liable. To be clear, she didn't violate Castro's rights according to the jury, but she's also received raises and promotions. SAPD's response across the board? Do nothing. Let me make sure I understand this. Jose Castro woke up to guns in his face, red dot laser on his forehead, yanked from his truck, struck, swept, handcuffed, all in an hour. Nightmares for 3 years, still traumatized several years later. Fought through summary judgment, a Fifth Circuit appeal, and a 4-day trial. And he still hasn't seen a dime. The judgment isn't final. The officers filed post-trial motions, and when those fail, they'll probably appeal. And so Castro's going to have to wait another year or 2 at least. Meanwhile, the officers promoted, raises, still carrying badges and guns, still making traffic stops, still interacting with members of the public. And when that $265,000 judgment becomes final, you know who pays? Probably not the officers. It'll probably be the taxpayers, you and me. This is the accountability gap. Even when you overcome qualified immunity, even when you win at the Fifth Circuit, even when a jury finds excessive force and malice, officers face almost no personal consequences. The Fifth Circuit created new precedent. A jury found reckless indifference to constitutional rights. And the city of San Antonio said, yeah, we're good with these officers. Let's give them more money and more authority. No disciplinary action, no retraining, no policy changes, nothing. Castro had to have body camera evidence, officers admitting misconduct on camera, resources to fight for several years, lawyers willing to take his case, a favorable judge, a jury that believed him, and a Fifth Circuit on his side. Most victims of excessive force don't have any of that. So yes, Jose Castro won, but at what cost? What are the takeaways from Castro versus Corey? Number 1, pointing guns can be excessive force. The Fifth Circuit clearly established that when officers point multiple weapons at an unarmed, non-threatening, confused suspect, that violates the Fourth Amendment. Context matters. Number 2, cameras can defeat officers. Kara Wallace said, "I broke the regs." Officers admitted that Castro never threatened them. Strategic muting, the illegal search. Without those cameras, Castro probably loses. Number 3, emotional damages count. Castro didn't have economic losses. He kept working. But the jury still awarded him $140,000 based entirely on mental and emotional suffering. Trauma is real. Juries recognize it. Number 4, qualified immunity isn't absolute. When you put a red dot on an unarmed man's forehead and admit he poses no threat, qualified immunity won't save you. And number 5, the most important, winning in court doesn't mean winning in life. Castro got his verdict. He's still traumatized, still hasn't been paid, and the officers still have their jobs. Look, I know on some level this case is frustrating. Seeing these officers getting promoted while Castro waits for justice 7 years later, it's infuriating. I feel it too. But here's what gives me hope. Jose Castro fought back. He didn't accept what happened. He got lawyers. He endured depositions, discovery, appeal, trial. He sat on that stand, cried in front of strangers, reliving his trauma, and he won. And to his credit, winning in the Fifth Circuit and actually getting to a trial, that's a huge win. And let's be real, okay? Getting to trial in the Fifth Circuit, the most conservative circuit in the entire country, on a qualified immunity issue, that's a really big deal. So the Fifth Circuit now has binding precedent. Castro versus Corey is the law, and every future case involving pointing weapons at unarmed suspects can cite this. That matters. Yeah, the officers got promoted. The taxpayers probably are going to foot the bill, but Castro's case is now part of the constitutional fabric of the Fifth Circuit. Maybe, just maybe, the next officer who thinks about putting a red dot on someone's forehead will remember Castro and think twice. That's why we document these cases. That's why we hold them accountable even when the departments won't. Because the law matters. Your rights matter. And Jose Castro proved it. I'm following this case through the appeals. If you want updates, subscribe, turn on notifications. Drop a comment and tell me what you think about the officers keeping their jobs. Should SAPD have fired them? And if you're in Texas, Louisiana, or Mississippi, and you have a police encounter like this, know your rights. You have the right to be free from excessive force. You have the right to refuse searches without a warrant. And if your rights are violated, you can sue under Section 1983. Castro versus Corey proves that even in the Fifth Circuit, even against qualified immunity, you can win. I'm clearly established, and thank you for watching.